And welcome to the broadcast. Worldview 2's Washington Report for this Monday night, July 28th, 2025. So, Donald Trump is overseas, and he cut a huge trade deal today. What is U.S. time? And the dollar has gold dipped and the dollar rips. That was the headline I saw. The dollar rips and gold dips, but that's all right. Gold will come back up. Trust you and me. That's my opinion. Let's talk to Jim Paff of theconservative.org, theconservative.org. See what he thinks about this and more. What do you make of this big trade deal, Mr. Paff?
It's fantastic. I'm still not tired of winning. We're winning every day.
Winning.
Listen, you know, Donald, after everyone has been so negative on Donald Trump related to his tariff policies, they totally misunderstand what's going on here.
I don't think you and I were, though. I was very positive from the word go on tariffs because I know that's how we originally funded the country. And I want to have an external revenue service, not an internal one.
I definitely want to go there. I'd love to get rid of the income tax and the Federal Reserve. And, you know, life would actually be wonderful. People don't realize it, but it'd be wonderful. But on the tariff policy, the dynamics that are working there is that, as we discussed right from the beginning, the trade situation after World War II, we had gone in and tried to, give countries access to our markets and not do anything punitive against them so that they could rebuild their economies. We did other things, the Marshall Plan and so forth. But that whole paradigm went by the wayside decades ago.
Yep.
And we've continued this policy of giving other countries benefits in our markets while they gave us none in theirs. Donald Trump came in and literally strong-armed these people to break out of the system that the Obamas and Bushes and Clintons were supporting prior to him coming on the scene. We're breaking the stranglehold. The EU has to bow down to some of our wishes to do business with us, but they got a great deal. Let's just be honest. They get still access to our markets, and we get better access into theirs. This is a good thing. We're going to have bigger and bigger trade deals. We've got one with Japan now. We've got really these countries are lining up. Canada is kind of the outlier right now. They're so stubborn, and they're going to harm themselves. There needed to be that threat of harm with massive tariffs to get these people back in line. It's going to, in the long run, you may see some dip in the economy here in the short run. That's a possibility still. Now, I don't predict it, but it's possible. But in the long run, this is going to really make not just our economy, but the world economy better, because people are going to need to conform to our standard of liberty and freedom, relatively low regulation compared to other countries, even though I would remove our regulatory state as well. But we're much better than other places. And everyone's going to benefit. Everything that they said was going to happen when we just so-called opened up trade in the 1990s, which we really didn't. We opened up the world's trade. We closed our trade. Now the whole thing is going to be open, and a rising tide is going to lift all boats.
100%. All right. Let's go to a clip. President Trump today overseas with the Prime Minister of Great Britain. Here we go.
I think he's done a terrible job, the mayor of London, but the nasty person. I think he's done. I think he's a friend of mine. No, I think he's done a terrible job, but I would certainly visit London.
Mayor Stormer had to stick up for his Islamic nut job mayor of London friend there. Did you see that?
Yeah, and the thing is, he's more aligned with his Islamic nut job friend in London, 100%. Although he's putting up a face. He's trying to win election, by the way. Kind of the typical thing, run to the center, pretend like you're going to be in the center. Of course, the center that he's going for is still way far left. But, make it look like you're not really trying to censor all Britons when there's arrest after arrest right now of people in Great Britain who are speaking out. Families are getting waylaid because they won't. Some of them will not conform conform to these radical leftist policies against their children in schools, and they're arresting them right now. So he's trying to put up a good face, but the reality is he's in front of the master there. He can't back down. And what beautiful, beautiful pictures of Donald Trump running people to Turnberry, which the Trump Corporation owns, running them there to meet with him rather than him running to their spots. I love it. We've needed this on the world stage for a long time. America is the best country to do business with, the country that still holds the moral authority worldwide. We still do, even with all of our faults. We still hold moral authority.
Yep.
He's taking advantage of that. We're winning because of it.
Here he is at his own golf course, still playing the part of the host, even though he's overseas, because he has a golf course in Scotland. Here he is receiving the Prime Minister. There you go. So he can go a lot of different places and still be in his own property and host and kind of be in charge.
Well, what he said about the mayor of London and what it was a direct shaming of a radical leftist that's running one of the great cities in world history that they've just been destroying for a couple decades now. We need to be shaming radical leftism. We need to shame the World Economic Forum. We need to shame these world leaders, particularly in Europe, who have entirely destroyed their countries. Donald Trump's in a great position to do it, and he is doing it. There with a little bit of deference by being a little bit nice, but making them have to come to him rather than the other way around. I love it. Keep it up.
Me too. Kudos. Here we go. Look at this. Another one.
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth. And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island. Yeah.
I didn't have the privilege. And then in one of my good moments, I turned it down. I just wish he would have left that word privilege, but I guess he was being sarcastic. I don't know. But he turned it down. He did not go. But boy, he keeps sticking it in and turning it on a couple of these big names, doesn't he?
Oh, totally. And Donald Trump holds the moral high ground in politics right now, everywhere, here in the United States and everywhere in the world. Who would have thought it? This guy who literally was always was oogling women. I remember as a young Christian, I saw him on, I think, Conan O'Brien's show, this long before he got in politics. And Conan O'Brien asked him if he had a condom in his wallet. And he pulls out his wallet and there's a condom. Like, that totally offended me. I had no idea that this guy would be able to come on to the political stage and assert the moral high ground. Listen, I'm not saying he's a perfect man. I'm not even saying he's an angel or a saint. What I am saying is this: our politics is so corrupt, so filled with sexual lasciviousness, and it is. Remember the report in 2017, and we know the number's larger, $17 million that was paid out of the speaker's office to take care of sexual assault or sexual misconduct cases with members of Congress. They paid them off so it would never come into public. That's just one small example of a massive, massive problem. Donald Trump has got the moral high ground against these people right now because he is right. And this has needed to happen. And this, I wish he could have done this in the first administration and then continue it in the second one. But this one, I'll take it. We've needed it badly. The town of Washington, D.C. is lascivious and corrupt. Donald Trump transcends all of that into something much greater, an American principle, an American president, and an American representing Americans.
Mm-hmm. Here he is talking about inheritance taxes.
We've got to fix that problem. We can't simply live with that problem. So it's a very different situation.
Well, we ended the estate tax. There is no estate tax on farmers. So when a parent leaves their farm, because again, a lot of these farms, they don't make a lot of money, but it's a way of life, and they love their way of life, and they love that dirt. That dirt is the most beautiful thing they've ever seen. They love it. I mean, they're farmers. They love doing it. They don't know how to do anything else, but they don't want to do anything else. I speak to farmers. I say, would you like to live in my penthouse in Manhattan? It's the most beautiful. No, sir, I want this farm. And what happens is, we were losing a lot of people to suicide. They'd borrow money to pay the estate tax, and they were not able to pay it. And some banks are ruthless; they wouldn't do anything, and they would end up committing suicide. We have totally ended the estate tax in those situations, so there's no estate tax. So when a parent leaves the farm to the kids, they don't have to worry about their local, possibly unfriendly banker coming in and stealing their farm.
All right, there you go. I agree 100%.
This is a total takedown of Keir Starmer. It's also a takedown of the Netherlands, too, which is doing even worse with their farmers. By the way, I recommend everyone go to the X profile of James Melville. He is in the UK. He's been documenting over and over again the attack on farmers that's taking place in Great Britain. It is absurd what they're doing under the name of so-called climate change. They're destroying farms in Europe. These are good people. In the case of the Netherlands, it's the most productive farmers in the world, in a tiny country producing and has been historically producing a massive amount of farm product. And of course, Great Britain has been very good that way as well. Keir Starmer just got taken down big time. And one of the major things is inheritance tax, literally stealing farms from people who have tried to do it all their lives. And government is a destroyer. It is not a benefit or a help to anyone. Under the guise of so-called protecting people, they destroy lives. They destroy wealth. The government always does these things. I thought it was so funny that Chuck Schumer was on the floor of the Senate today, I think it was, talking about the EU deal and saying, yeah, Donald Trump's going to steal $90 billion from Americans through EU tariffs. What are you talking about? The situation has gone down for Americans. We're getting a great benefit going into their markets. So these folks are absurd.
Now, does Donald Trump, did I read this right? Donald Trump has a 16-room castle?
He owns Turnberry, where he's been meeting these people. His organization does. I think that's what they're referring to as it's on the property there.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen much of it. I've seen pictures from the outside.
Well, you're about to see pictures from the outside. It's gorgeous. He has a nicer property, lives in a nicer house than the prime minister. I mean, this is really hilarious. I mean, think about this. This U.S. president owns all of this, is taking these guys to properties in their region of the world that are his, that are nicer than what they live in. It's hilarious.
It's brilliant. It's amazing.
I mean, he flexes on them nonstop.
He needs to. Listen, this is a guy who's had success. We need to be honoring success again in this country. The false notion of the robber barons from the late 19th century who were totally taking advantage of everybody. Listen, there was innovation in the late 19th century in this country that was beyond anything we can imagine. Without an income tax, with low regulations, it was amazing what was happening. And it actually really emphasizes wonderfully a quote by C.S. Lewis that I love. And he said, of all tyrannies, a tyranny tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It would be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep, his cupidity may at some point be satiated, but those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. In other words, there's no moral guide to the political efforts to tell people how to live their lives. There's no necessary or appropriate role of government in ever doing that. And even though you would get, obviously, some corruption and immoral behavior if the robber barons were ruling over us, the reality is that they would still have of necessity to make sure that the citizens in that country were going into their markets and consuming their products. They couldn't entirely destroy it, but moral busybodies who have no moral compass, this is the fundamental aspect of wokeism, with no moral compass and a high level of potential harm, and in fact, having control of the sword of government to tell you how to live your life, that is a tyranny we cannot bear. We've come very close to that in the United States. Europe is living with that in certain places now. China is inundated with that sort of thing. That is not what we want. Donald Trump represents success that we should be honoring and an attitude of success that we should be promoting in our country. And every one of these Democrats, and the Democrat Party, as I've said a few times now, is not an American party. They are moral busybodies who want to tell you how to live your life.
Sure they are.
We need to go a different direction. Donald Trump is helping us get there if Republicans and conservatives in general are willing to take that up in their own manner in years to come.
Here's his house. There's his castle. Trump castle.
It's amazing. The guy always does things top notch. I've been to Trump facilities. It's always much better than anything else you're going to get most other places. There are very few companies that give you the level of service and attention that Trump properties do. There are some that come close or are similar, but his are always the best. They're wonderful places to go to. You enjoy being there, and they make it a wonderful service for everyone. They do know what to do. This is what we want to be encouraging, even with all the potential negatives that can come. I've always said that if you want to become a billionaire, you have to follow the golden rule, because you have to give people a service or a product that they want. You have to treat employees well to provide that service or product. And you have to go back to the people that were buying from you and continually seek their understanding of what they think of your service so you can improve upon it. You have to do that process over and over again if you want to become a billionaire. Donald Trump has done that. Many other billionaires have. And even if they remain just a jerk in their lives and totally selfish, they still have to follow the golden rule to try to get there. That is the beauty of free markets.
Mm-hmm. Here's President Trump on the scam of all the climate change. Here we go.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill.
Let me start that again. Here's what I say to Europe. He's speaking right to them. He is just trash talking them right to their face. I love it.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you look up and you see windmills all over the place. It's a horrible thing. It's the most expensive form of energy. It's no good. They're made in China, almost all of them. When they start to rust and rot in 8 years, you can't really turn them off. You can't bury them. They won't let you bury the propellers, the props, because there's a certain type of fiber that doesn't go well with the land. That's what they say. The environmentalists say you can't bury them because the fiber doesn't go well with the land. In other words, if you bury it, it will harm our soil. The whole thing is a con job. It's very expensive. And in all fairness, Germany tried it, and wind doesn't work. You need subsidy for wind, and energy should not need subsidy. With energy, you make money. You don't lose money. But more important than that is it ruins the landscape. It kills the birds. They're noisy. You have a certain place in the Massachusetts area that over the last 20 years had 1 or 2 whales wash ashore, and over the last short period of time, they had 18, okay? Because it's driving them loco. It's driving them crazy. Now, windmills will not come. It's not going to happen in the United States. And it's a very expensive. And I would love to see. I mean, today I'm playing the best course, I think, in the world, Turnberry. Even though I own it, it's probably the best course in the world, right? And I look over the horizon and I see 9 windmills. It's like great. At the end of the 18th, I said, isn't that a shame? What a shame. You have the same thing all over Europe in particular. You have windmills all over the place. Some of the countries prohibit it, but people ought to know that these windmills are very destructive. They're environmentally unsound, just the exact opposite. Because the environmentalists, they're not really environmentalists. They're political hacks. These are people that they almost want to harm the country. But you look at these beautiful landscapes all over the world. Many countries have gotten smart. They will not allow it. They will not. It's the worst form of energy, the most expensive form of energy. But windmills should not be allowed.
Sitting there trash talking the climate agenda, right? I think Stormer's sitting next to him when he's doing all that.
I hope he was squirming badly. Again, you need to shame these people. They've been shaming us for decades. The media has been complicit in allowing them to do it. They've utilized the power that they obtain in government to shame and put under the thumb the citizens of their countries to conform to something that is really about control of them. The shame has to go back, because the shame that Donald Trump's providing is accurate. By the way, when it comes to solar, there's a lot of utility potentially in solar, even though we have subsidized it. But wind is almost entirely useless. There's nothing good about it. And as he said, whatever good you possibly can get from it, it's going to destroy the environment in the long run, because these things do break down. There's no place to bury them. These things they will not break down naturally in any way, and you can't recycle the material to do anything. It's absolutely crazy. And by the way, I think Turnberry is one of the greatest courses in the world. I also have an affinity for the old course at St. Andrews, so I got to say that. But Turnberry's awesome.
Let's see. What else do I got here? I think I got something on Johnny Thune. Here we go, Mr.
Reading the names be waived.
Here we go.
Service signed by 17 senators as follows.
Madam President, I ask consent to reading the names be waived.
Without objection.
And I move to proceed to legislative session.
The question is on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to.
Madam President, I move to proceed to executive session and consider calendar number 282.
The question is on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to. The clerk will report the nomination.
Nomination, Department of Homeland Security, Matthew Kozma of Virginia to be Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analysis.
Madam President, I send a cloture motion to the desk.
The clerk will report.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a closed debate on the nomination of Matthew Kozma of Virginia to be Undersecretary for Intelligence and Analysis, Department of Homeland Security, signed by 17 senators as follows.
I ask consent that reading the names be waived.
Without objection.
And I ask unanimous consent that the Senate resume executive calendar number 273.
Without objection.
Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that if any nominations are confirmed during today's session of the Senate, the motion to reconsider be considered made, laid upon the table, and the President be immediately notified of the Senate's action, and that the mandatory quorum calls with respect to the Wright and Matthews nominations be waived.
Without objection. So ordered.
Thank you, Madam President.
So did we just get some recess appointments there, Jim?
We did. We got a handful.
So thank you, Senator Thune, right?
Sorta. I mean, yeah, for these, you know, what the Senate could be doing. This is a gesture. I mean, it's an important one. These are important nominations that came through. But this is a gesture. What he refuses to do, and he should do, and Donald Trump has asked for, he hadn't blown the horn, but he has mentioned, yes, he wants that. They should go out of session for August and let Donald Trump make recess appointments.
Because he's got like 130. He's got like 130.
135.
135.
Yeah, 135. And he should be able, and this, I think, knocked out 5 of those. But
well,
anyway,
that would put it at 130, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That is, sorry. So anyway, but what he should just allow those nominations. They can be put in as recess appointments for 120 days, plenty of time to come back and finish their nominations more formally later on while they get to business. Mm-hmm. He should be doing that. This is a gesture. It's fine that he just should be going further. And the intransigence of not doing it, to me, is still absurd. These, as I keep saying, the weak part of the Trump agenda is Republicans in Congress. They do not have the fortitude to recognize that what Donald Trump is doing to break down what has gummed up the system for so long, they should be doing it in Congress as well. We need movement. We need clarity. The American people need to know that when they vote for something, it's going to happen. And that they can get it full bore, and you know, these people, they're institutionalized, okay. And I mean that in the double entendre that it comes across.
Now, where is President Trump on to next? Because I think we got a crowd that's waving as he departs. Scotland. Does anyone know where he's going next?
I'm not sure.
Logan, can someone look it up? Don't we get the White House schedule every day sent to us? I think we do. It comes in my inbox. It ought to be in that. I should be able to look it up myself, actually. But look at that gorgeous plane.
Well, and while you're watching that take off, I mean, consider the fact there were thousands and thousands of Scots that were holding Trump signs and Make America Great stuff. I mean, Donald Trump is loved around the world. They can tell you whatever they want. Donald Trump is loved and respected around the world.
One reason why is because they know he's doing what is in the best interest of his country, number one. Number two, it's common sense. Number three, they realize he's patriotic, right, toward his country. They also realize that he's a strong alpha male. And people, quite frankly, are sick of the soy boy, in my opinion, feminized, weak, yellow-bellied, feminine guys like Keir Starmer, Emmanuel Macron. They're sick of these guys, all right?
Well, even Chris Matthews, former MSNBC host, was saying that very thing because they see people's. Yeah, he did. It's out there. He did an interview with Charlie Rose on his podcast, and he was talking about the fact that that people do like Donald Trump's strength. But here's another reason people around the world like this. It's because they want America to be strong. Most citizens of most countries understand that the strength of America is freedom. The human heart, with all of our problems, and as I say, 6,000 years of recorded human history proves the radical corruption of mankind. No doubt about it. But in our hearts, we want freedom. Human beings detest being told what to do. They do not like the efforts of governments to put fear in people's hearts, to put them under their thumbs. And yes, there is a sense in which at some point people want security, so they'll give up freedom. But after they deal with that for a while, they realize the mistake that they made, the Faustian bargain that they succumbed to, and they want out of it. People want out of that Faustian bargain now.
And I think in this clip, Stormer, I think he's being very dishonest here. Let's see what he says. If it's the clip, I think it is.
The importance of free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
Really? You've had free speech? Really? Seriously? Let's watch Trump's watch the facial expressions on both men.
The importance of free speech today.
Well, free speech is very important. I don't know if you're referring to any place in particular. Perhaps they are, but
we've had free speech for a very, very long time here, so we're very proud about that.
Yeah, Trump's face is, yeah. What is it?
He's a liar. I'm seeing posts all day long. Like, I'll see a handful of posts every day of someone getting arrested.
That's right.
In Great Britain
for
exercising free speech. It's a lie.
We've been showing that since the day after October 7th. People simply showing their disgust of what Islam stands for, and very appropriately, and boom, they're arrested. So this guy's a piece of trash. I mean,
Yes.
the world, they choose between Stormer or Trump. They'll choose Trump figures every time. TheConservativeCaucus.org, us, worldyoutube.com. Take care.